If I were episode 4. I thought that would rhyme. If I was Superman, I would fly really high. Then I would go to the store and buy Alka-Seltzer. Next one. If I were a woman that was conceited to the point of marrying herself, alimony wouldn't be a problem. If I were a hamster bored in a cage with no wheel, I would run into the walls of the cage constantly until my master saw me like, what the f*** is he doing? And then he would take me out and I would run away into the field and then make millions of hamster babies with my hamster lady friend. If I were a giant, it was in capital letters, I wouldn't be a little person. If I were married, I'd ask my wife, what the hell were you thinking? Now get in the kitchen and make me a ham sandwich, woman. No, I wouldn't say that. Maybe turkey. If I were an alien, I'd be from planet. If I were locked in an empty room, I'd write the hit song, Locked in an Empty Room. If I were a pony, if I were a robot, if I were a girl, my name would be Quintisha. Quint meaning 5 and Tisha meaning Tisha. If I were one of those annoying YouTubers who do nothing but say sub for sub, I would say sub for sub. If I were a guy who wanted to ask a girl out, I'd be like, hey, you wanna go to a movie with me? She'd be like, yeah, I do. Then I'm like, cool, let's go. Got any money? If I were a letter in the alphabet, I would be That's my alien alphabet. If I were a wrestler, you'd be my tag team partner. That's a good pickup line. Write that down. If I were a dry erase board, I wouldn't be very dry erasey, because you always have to spray the liquid stuff to get the ink off. Bring back the blackboards, you racists. If I were a painting, I'd be worth thousands of cents. If I were a mole, I'd make excellent guacamole. If I were a millionaire, I wouldn't be living here. If I were a remote control, I wouldn't be lost anywhere, like under the cushion or in the fridge. If I were Hugh Hefner's evil twin brother, I'd have rabid bunnies. If I were a character in Mario Kart, I'd be Yoshi. I mean, come on, he's a dinosaur who can ride a go-kart. If I were out of sugar, you'd give me some, right? If I were grammar police, I am grammar police. If I were an easy bake oven, I'd be a toy for a girl who's a housewife in training. If I were a mangina, I'd be old Greg. If I were a Ken doll, I'd be like, dude, where's my man pieces? If I were a Jolie Pit Kid, I'd want to be named Stinky. If I were a roller coaster, That'd be the time of your life. If I were a carpenter, I'd be Jesus. If I were a toe with a bad infection, I'd say, "Hey there, infection. You stop infecting me, please." Can't be mean. If I were a surfboard, I'd ride the waves. Duh. If I were to make 5-star quality food, it would be my lifelong dream to go on Iron Chef America and kick Bobby Flay's ass. Like, you got flayed! If I were a cloud, I'd be fluffy and in the shape of Mr. T. I pity the fool who don't think I'm fluffy. If I were a syringe, I'd be filled with liquid gumdrops. If I were a hernia, you know. If I were Pac-Man, I'd be very proud of myself for not gaining a lot of weight by eating all those dots. If I were ugly, I'd wear a bag over my head. Fine, you happy now? And why not? I'll give you guys an if I were. If you were one of my videos, which one would you be and why? Before I go, I'd like to share a few words with you if you don't mind. Okay, that's great. Everybody have a great and safe New Year's. And thank you so much for making 2008 so memorable for me. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. Oh, can't even tell you how much. See you later.